good to be true. That there was John Lloyd Young, but when Heath Ledger sang that, I fell in love with him.
Oh, isn't he wonderful? Poor
Hey,
darling.
look, we are here with Madonna from Natural Therapies, and we're talking all things weight loss.
Yeah,
So, can I ask you a question?
absolutely.
We're talking about things to do with weight loss and how you can stimulate with the fasting and how to get back on track. So for a lot of people out there, they do the right thing, they get fit and active and they eat right, and then they hit those plateaus,
Yes.
which a lot of people tend to give up.
Yes.
What's your ideas on that?
From a naturopathic perspective, there's been studies that show that once the fat mass hits a certain level of toxicity and the body knows that the liver, kidneys, gallbladder, gut, immune system can't cope with the amount of toxins we're about to release, that will hit a plateau. So from a naturopathic perspective, we tend to do some detoxing at that stage. So, and it's really common. There was a study on, and this is an awful study, it was a study on morbidity of obese people. So basically a 5-year study done over 5 years, and it looked at and we're talking 300 kilo people. Mm-hmm. So, and they basically looked at whether or not they were just as likely to be alive after 5 years, whether they lost weight or stayed the same weight. And they found that the people who lost weight without detoxifying were just as likely to die within the 5 years as those who maintained their weight. Whereas the people who did detoxification actually had a longevity longer than the others.
Because it doesn't matter how healthy we are, we can build up toxins in our body.
Oh, and fat's an insulator.
So what we do is we tend to build them up and absorb them, which kind of makes us feel a bit lethargic and a bit awful. So the detox you're talking about is doing the whole cleansing
That's
out
right.
your organs and your liver.
Yes.
Getting rid of those toxins.
And it's a challenge. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's and it depends what we're releasing. So for women, we might have toxic estrogens in there. So you might need an estrogen detox with something like calcium deglucarate or things like that. If we live near power lines and it's radiation that we're building up in our body, we might need things like glutathione or N-acetylcysteine or zeolite products, so it depends on what, and people often know what the toxins are. People often say, well, my health was fine until I married my hubby and we lived on a farm for 15 years and there were heaps of pesticides. So people often know where they're or they don't. But then we can do things like oligoscans and actually check out heavy metal levels and where the oxidative stress in the body. So, there's things that you can do to actually go find that stuff out. So it's but like I say, some people know. Some people know it's stress. Yeah. Stress hormones are incredibly toxic. So you get that cortisol level, raised every day because you're not sleeping or you're having too much coffee or too much sugar or just life is stressful. Cortisol is very well known to lay down that stomach fat, and that tummy fat is not inert.
That's right, because the bigger the abdominal mass, the higher risk you are for diabetes and also comorbidities. So, do you remember Dr. Oz? So Dr. Oz on Oprah, love Dr. Oz. So one of his magic numbers was when you suck in your tummy, women, and once again I'm thinking inches, so when women suck in their tummy, we want to have a 32.5-inch waist or less. Men need to be 34.5 inches or less, and he says that gets rid of one of those risk factors. But the reason it's sucked in is just say we had a loaf of bread yesterday, we'd be fully bloated, so that bloating can add centimetres to your waist or inches. So you want to be able to suck that in to take the bloating out of the equation so that you really know what that number is. So 32.5 inches for women, 34.5 inches for men. So it's just one of those little numbers to have in your mind. Well, the closest I'm going to get to those numbers, so what we're talking about, 30, we'll say 36.
Maybe it's about 90 and 100 centimetres or something like that, perhaps, I'm guessing, or 80 and 90.
The closest I'm going to get to those numbers is bingo.
Well, the half will be fun.
Oh, it will be fun. We're talking all things weight loss and stressful, obviously, just after Christmas, because we do stress out, especially with everybody's business packing their credit cards.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to be listening to Cannon Smith right now. This Night Back. This is Bang FM.